Liverpool are the champions of Europe.
That is a really nice thing to hear.
And it's good, isn't it?
Can we just refer to them as the champions of Europe for the next year?
Yep, that's fine. And we will do, I promise.
Okay. This is a new official champions of Europe podcast.
Yeah, the unofficial Champions of Europe podcast. That's what it should be known as from now on. Me and Kieran both agreed when we were in the stadium that what's it called? It's never going to get tiring ever, because next season we're going to wind up whoever we play on the first weekend by half time. And I for one can't wait. It is
glorious.
It is the story of a poor boy. I'm Mikey.
I'm Matt.
I'm Jamie.
And we are going to be going through probably the best weekend of my life, to be honest.
Same.
So we've got two different perspectives of it. Yeah, we've got two different perspectives on it this time round. So obviously we've got me, who ended up going, and Jamie and Matt ended up staying at home. So we can basically tell the tale from both of the most important places in the world on the week on Saturday.
Exactly. Well, we kind of got three perspectives as well, because Jamie was mainly sober for it, and I was shit-faced.
Yeah. Okay. So
I give the actual perspective.
And I give how it
felt.
The raw emotions.
Yeah, if you're after any kind of tactical breakdown of the game,
Listen to what I've got to say.
No, you're completely in the wrong place.
I've got it for you. I'll sum it up in 1 second. We were shite, Spurs were worse.
I mean, I don't even know about that, to be honest. I just think Liverpool have grown up in the last year.
Spurs were worse.
Liverpool showed a lot of what Real Madrid showed last year, and you can tell basically which team was in the final last year and which team wasn't.
Yeah.
And I mean, Spurs weren't great. It was one of those games, can't remember if I said that on here last week or not, but it was one of those games where you just kind of, all the way through it, you're sitting there and you're just thinking, oh my God, this could happen at any moment, they're going to score. And then when you watch it back, you're like, we were never in danger at one point. There was
a 10-minute stint in the second half after they brought on Mora where I thought they looked a bit dangerous. And honest to God, he should have fucking started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For Kane to last the entire 90 minutes was ridiculous. Klopp
last win quotation marks.
Whatever. He wasn't subbed off.
Yeah.
Firmino was subbed off on 60 minutes, which is possibly the earliest substitution I've ever seen from Klopp.
I know it was.
So
I was saying to him,
except for the half-time hooking of Lovren against
or
Spurs.
injuries.
Yeah, or injuries. But like,
he got it done when he needed to, didn't he?
Exactly.
He was just. He knew Firmino had to come
Firmino
off when he
wasn't
did,
fit.
and he knew Gini had to come off.
Yeah,
when he did.
Kane was in the exact same position, and Pochettino didn't sub him.
Yeah,
No.
I think that's down to experience as well.
We make two changes in the 58th minute and the 62nd minute.
Yeah,
and that is incredibly early to play your hand, really, when you think about it from a manager. But it's just kind of you going in with the game plan, and also
It's
both
legs.
Changes.
It's legs.
Mm.
He's putting legs back on the pitch, knowing that Pochettino will not take off Kane, and all we need to do is last, and we can win.
It changes the game plan. I think Liverpool scoring so early.
yeah, it did.
Because obviously Liverpool's game plan at that point, if it's still 0-0, I don't think those two changes happen.
Possibly not.
But because we know Tottenham are desperate, because we know Tottenham will need a goal, we can rely on the fact that they won't be taking off Harry Kane at any point soon, and we can just put on the legs of James Milner, who was exactly the right change.
Exactly.
I mean, there's no point in saying whether or not Divock Origi was the right change, because he was absolutely awful for the half an hour he was on the pitch, except for one.
He was so shit.
Except for 1 10-second period.
Yeah.
That's the one moment of quality in the entire game as well.
Yeah, Glenn Hoddle said that as well.
Okay. Actually, that and Mane's run, which deserved to be
Mane's
finished by Milner's
run,
shot, but
there's a lot of defensive quality in the game as well from us. In particular.
There was a really good pass out by Fabinho in the first half.
Matip.
Sorry, not Fabinho, Matip. Down to Robertson, that leads to Robertson's shot that's tipped over the bar, and that is fantastic. It's absolutely brilliant.
Well, yeah, I mean,
getting ahead of ourselves here.
Well, I mean, we're just. I think the best way of saying it is we're flying through it, because no one wants to talk about how that match, because it wasn't great.
No one remembers the match. you remember the win.
Yeah, exactly.
Except for Istanbul.
I was about to say, except for very rare circumstances, and even then, if you watch Istanbul back now, there's a lot of that game that you won't remember. It's just the way it goes.
Yourself or cry.
Yeah,
when you first watched it.
Right, yeah. So, how did your Saturdays go?
My Saturday was just sat on the couch, counting down the hours till I had to leave the dog, meet up with Matt in town, and then I was just a mess. Like we had a really good seat in the bar, didn't we? Like Matt sorted out. It was a fantastic table. Absolutely showered us with drinks. It was great.
53 degrees. I'll give him a shout out. There you go.
But then I was just sat because, like I said, I hadn't drank that much. I had a few of the drinks on the table, and I had a few drinks on the table, but was just sat there with basically my hands on my face and watching as my heartbeat monitor was just telling me I'm in very much danger of having a heart attack. I think
going up and up and up and up.
Like Kerry was sat next to me, and just every so often, like she would just come and go, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, "No." I'm just waiting. And then Matt would come up from behind me, tap me on the shoulder, and just shout one of either "Spurs are shit" or "We've got this." It was just alternating between the two.
I'm very reassuring.
Yeah.
I'm very succinct.
But it was so good when, like, I think when the penalty shot, like, as soon as Mane hit the ball, I think I was just out of my seat shouting pen. I feel like I was one of the first in the bar because I was just like, that shouting pen. And yeah, I just couldn't believe it. And then, for that second of like, oh, it's actually Salah who's going to be taking it. But I was just like, again, head and hands. You're just confidence behind me.
Yeah, I don't understand why everyone was so scared that Salah was taking the pen. I was on one knee, ready to jump up. I was just. It was a formality watching the penalty, to be honest. I was on one knee, waiting, one hand on the table, one hand on my knee, and just waiting to pounce. And then Salah took a pretty shit pen, but it went in.
It went in.
And I was vindicated.
Yeah, and then skip 85 minutes or whatever it was when Divock put that in. It was just everyone knew we'd won it.
Yeah,
there was just nothing.
That was it. I didn't watch any of the match after that. I was just running around crying and hugging everyone I fucking could.
It took me like I said, I was stood right at the front. It took Matt to stoppage time to actually get to me to actually just hug and just cry and just realise like this is happening.
Yeah,
and then
it's done.
Oh God, when that final whistle blew, it was so good. There was like, what are those massive confetti cannons going off in 53 degrees or something? It was so good. Everyone was just chanting all the songs. Everyone was hugging each other. Like, I just had to watch the telly. Like, I know I was like hugging in between, but I was just like, I need to see this. I need to remember, like watching them lift it, watching them put the inscribing Liverpool onto the trophy. Like, I was so glad you got me out, because otherwise I would have been sat on the couch, not against me mum and dad, but with me mum and dad, and just jumping up and down with Riley instead.
I'm a lot more fun. You can say that.
Yeah. And then we just said, didn't we? As soon as we won, we were like, Pop World.
We tried to get in Pop World, and she was ridiculous, so we went with K instead.
And then we were fuming because we went to K, right? It took like an hour for K2 to open. We got up to K2, and Kerry's going over to the DJ going, "Oh, can you actually play some actual K2 songs?" And it turns out he was an Evertonian and was proper bitter and was just ignoring everything that Kerry was asking. So we were just like, "Oh well, we're getting out of it." Yeah. So I left Matt and all that, and I went and sat on the bombed out church steps. We went to the Bargain Booze, which was still open. Had a massive queue outside. Got a crate of beer and just soaked up the atmosphere, because that street was just completely closed because of the crowds. And we just sat there like, you know what, as much as I would have loved to have been in Pot World and danced to all the songs and celebrate this, it's the being in Liverpool then and there.
Exactly.
Whilst there's just congregations in random points in the city.
Yeah.
Probably,
So
probably the second best place in the world to have been at that moment.
Probably,
in time,
yeah.
In all fairness.
My Saturday was obviously I was with Jamie, but she didn't arrive until about 7ish.
Yeah.
I'd been out since about 1, so I was panic pacing in the morning, waiting for my brother and his 2 friends to come up from Oxford, and for my mates from home to come up. 3 of them coming up as well. Took them to the font. We had a nice burger. We had some beers. Then we made our way down to Concert Square. Realised that it's a lot more busy than we thought it was going to be. Like at that time, it was about 2 or 3
I couldn't believe the videos.
So we turned around, went to Sainsbury's, bought a couple of crates of beer, but we bought a bottle of wine. We went back and we stayed there until 5:30 where the bar opened. And there in Concert Square was absolutely ridiculous. It was festival atmosphere, music festival atmosphere times 10. It was just amazing. So I've seen videos of the square in Madrid and the square in Kiev, and that was like that. Like there were flares everywhere, people climbing and hanging off scaffolding, everyone just singing and having a great time. Kerry was terrified at first, and then eventually after a few beers she started to calm down. She even went on my shoulders at one point, which was...
Embraced it fully.
Yeah, she really did. She really did. I remember watching one of the guys that was hanging off the scaffolding. The police dragged him off at one point, and we gave him a hero's... I'd say the opposite of welcome, goodbye. And then about 10 minutes later, he managed to wriggle his way free of them, and he was back in the exact same spot on the scaffolding where he was before. And he had his shirt off, he was just pouring beer over his head, and it was fucking brilliant. And it was just an incredible few hours down there, just to be surrounded by so many people all doing the same thing and enjoying it, and just really, really believing that this is it. This is the one. Like, because last year we were all here and it wasn't the same. No.
No.
The atmosphere leading up to it was a lot more nervous. The atmosphere here was party. It was carnival. It was bedlam. It was chaos.
We watched it as well with a lot of non-Liverpool fans last year. When
we
watched Kiev, do you know what I mean? Like, we just watched it in our living room, but we had a lot of mates around, and between people who didn't like football and people who weren't Liverpool fans, it kind of just
I took away from it a little bit.
Yeah, not a comment against anybody who was actually in ours last year, but it was just
fuck off.
It's kind of like, I'm trying to think. It's like if you, I'm trying to think. It's like if you watched if you went through a photo album of your family while you're out with your mates, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's only a couple of members of your family there, but your mates are there as well. Your mates aren't that interested in it, whereas it's everything. And it's exactly what it was like for us as well, do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, the equivalent of playing your save game, like, on, like, fucking Skyrim or something like that. Maybe you care about it, but maybe somebody else doesn't quite get it. Do you know what I mean? They're just watching because it's the game. Do you know what I mean?
And then they kill a chicken in the village, and then you're never allowed back there, and they've ruined everything. And you're like, for fuck's sake, why'd you do that?
Yeah,
why'd you save after it as well?
Exactly, that kind of thing. But whereas this time it was everyone singing from the same hymn sheet, and everyone pulling in the same direction. And
it was just incredible. Like the whole city of Liverpool just came to an absolute standstill, and it was brilliant. It was just an absolute sea of red everywhere you looked. So at 5:30 we walked back up and we managed to get our way out of Concert Square back up onto the top street by the bombed out church, and it's just as rammed there as well, and everybody's singing. The bombed out church is packed, and I'm sure you've all seen videos of that. We get into the bar and we have the most perfect table right at the front, right by the window, massive round table, enough seats for 10 of us. And we put down our money straight away and just get about 50 or 60 bottles of beer delivered to the table in buckets of ice, and that was just us sorted. It was perfect, and there was a telly right in front of us on the wall. I picked the perfect spot.
Literally, because we had space. It wasn't just that, because like every bar in Liverpool would have been absolutely packed.
You wouldn't have been able to move to get to the bar or
But
anything.
you had the table. They had obviously like the massive windows open, so it was like basically someone could have just walked in, to be honest. But because you had the table and where it was like we could be cool, and we weren't just like touch tight to random strangers as well. That mattered at the end of the night anyway. But you know what I mean? Like when it was like
just necking whoever I could. And there was someone playing a guitar and doing "Ale Ale Ale" in Fields of Anfield Road and all that shite, and it was just amazing. I know all this is going to pale in comparison to your stories from Madrid.
I know what you're talking about.
This is Liverpool as I've always imagined it after a trophy win, or like during a trophy run-in, or this is the Liverpool that I moved here for. This is. I kept welling up just thinking about it, because this is my fucking city. Yeah. Like I know I'm not a Scouser, but I'm a fucking adopted Scouser. I don't care. It's my city, and it's fucking brilliant. And no one else in the country does it like Liverpool. London wouldn't have been like that. London wouldn't have been like that. The Spurs side of Madrid wouldn't have been like that. I know very much the Liverpool side of Madrid was exactly like that. But there's nothing like that in English football. I don't think there's anything like it in world football, to be honest.
No. Because that's the thing, it's like, sorry to put you in, but it's like, even for me to experience that, like, I'm sat on the Bombed Out Church and I'm like, this is the first time even I've, and like, I know you've obviously, like, you moved in, but you think, you know, when 05 happened, I was
old enough to experience it properly.
Yeah, I was 11. I was in bed watching TFI.
This is the first one that we've all been able to experience properly as adults that are properly passionate about this and not romantic kids at heart. I guess.
Exactly. Like
the thing is, I think I've said it in the past, is that when you're a child, Liverpool
are the best.
Going to win everything.
Yeah.
And that's the way you feel about every tournament, is that. I remember once my dad gave me, when I was about 11, my dad gave me a £10 free bet. He had it on a betting account, and he just went, yeah, go on, £10, put it on whatever you like. And the first thing I did was put it on Liverpool to win the league. First thing. This is in 2004, 2005, so we won the Champions League. But I put it straight away on Liverpool to win the league, because in my head,
there was no way we never were.
Well, exactly.
We were never gonna.
That was the point we were at. And then you look back at the squad now, and you're like, well, how the fucking hell were we ever going to win the league when we had Milan Baros and Gibraltar Cisse as our main strikers? But when you're a kid,
it's that childlike wonder, isn't it? It's like, my team's the best ever. And no one else can ever tell me otherwise.
Well, it's that as well. But don't forget, up to that point, like, so I started following Liverpool properly about 98. As a kid, even. So, up until the 2005 League Cup final, we had never lost a final while I was, like, paying attention to it.
That's
do you know what I mean? We'd won the treble in 2001, and then we won the Community Shield and the Super Cup after it. We won the 2003 League Cup. And then 2005 happened, and the League Cup final was the first time I ever saw Liverpool lose a final. And I was like... and it was... As Chelsea were getting good. Do you know what I mean? And so... Liverpool winning the Champions League just felt like, well, we're gonna beat these, because, you know, AC Milan, they're shit. These. You look back, now, and it was full of world class names.
Yeah. Spurs.
But the thing is now, like, older and wiser, and have seen a lot more of football. You gain an appreciation for. Like, and also the team's been through a lot more as well since. Not the team, the club has been through a lot more. So you gain an appreciation for how truly special and rare these moments are in football. I mean, Liverpool have been going now for over 100 years, and we're sitting here now talking about our 6th Champions League. The Champions League's been going for, 70 years now? And we're talking about our 6th one. And we're the 3rd most successful team in in European Cup history after Saturday now. So it's only Real Madrid who cheated to get all theirs, because they played peasant farmers every year. They basically founded the competition and went, Romania's Sunday League, that looks like a competition.
These are the
if you translate that, it just means Real Madrid fancied another trophy. And then you've got the AC Milan teams of, the great teams that they've had down the years, all with Paolo Maldini in them. And Liverpool are now above the likes of Barcelona and above the likes of Bayern Munich. And, they're European royalty. They're teams you get in a draw, as we have done both of them this season. And you go, yeah, it's a bit hard, that. It's going to be a tough one, that one.
Yeah.
But this year was just, everyone knew how special it was.
Yeah.
And that was the best thing about it, I think, is that everyone is very aware of how special it was. But yeah, I mean, carry on.
Well, I was just going to move on to my reactions during the game. So obviously talked about the penalty. Absolute stonewall penalty. Don't give a fuck what anyone says.
It's mad how much so many people are actually trying to say it's not a penalty.
Sorry to interrupt, but should we just do my pre-match and then we can all talk about the penalty together?
Yeah, sure.
If that makes sense. Right, okay. So my pre-match, okay?
You got to
me and Kieran and his dad and uncles, we flew into Alicante on Thursday morning, turned up at one villa that we'd already booked. They had 3 beds in it. The couch was tiny. Blow-up bed was folded away in the corner. It looked like it hadn't been used in forever. The pool had a filthy cover on the top of it and then a dead lizard at the bottom of it, as you do. There was in the far corner, in the far corner of the of the grounds, there was this like kennel enclosure. And I daren't look inside the kennel.
Oh God!
Because it just had
fucking hell.
No. That's this is how.
Maybe the dead lizard wasn't me and
me and Kieran both agreed that it was the worst Europe. But I mean, fair play to the fella. He's building it. It's still in the process of him building it up, and he offered us it. And fair enough. Like, we kind of jumped at the chance because you do. It doesn't for 1 minute enter your mind it might not be suitable for 5 grown men to sleep in somewhere that only has 3 beds. So we booked another villa instead. Shout out to Casa James, because it was actually quite nice once we got there and all that, and we were all settled in. Kieran had to room with his uncles and his dad for the first night. 4 of them in one room on 3 beds.
And you had your own room and own bed.
Yeah, because I think it was.
It's a bit less weird for you to sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
With,
yeah. So
Kieran's dad or Kieran's uncles.
Why didn't Kieran stay with you though?
I don't know.
He hates you, that's why.
Maybe. He regretted it the next morning when his uncle kept him up all night snoring. But yeah, I mean, we messed around in Alicante and all that on Friday, and then obviously the big day comes round, and 9 o'clock in the morning, me and Kieran were adamant we were leaving 9 o'clock in the morning, because the day before we were going to Alicante, and we said we'd leave at 11. I think we said we'd leave at 11, and we didn't end up leaving until about 1-2 o'clock in the afternoon. So it was like, right, okay.
Sounds like you with some faffers.
We leave at 9. So 8:45 comes round, and we were out the door. All in the car. I was really impressed. Everyone did really well there. And on the road to Madrid, all you see down a motorway, because of how big a country Spain is, all you see is like open road, and then a car with a Liverpool flag will drive past, beeping the horn, and then another car with a Liverpool flag drove past. I saw 2 cars with Spurs flags, and I couldn't tell you how many I saw with Liverpool flags because it was ridiculous. Honestly,
there was so much more of us than there.
I mean, we pulled up at a service station, and whilst we were in there just getting some food and stuff, Spurs fans turned up. Some Spurs fans turned up, and me and Kieran were chatting to them, and they were like, "So how many of you are coming down?" We're like, "Oh, there's 5 of us in the one car." And they're like, "Oh, we've got 2 cars, and there's 3 of us in each car." And I was like, "Oh, have you all got match tickets?" And he was like, "Only one of us has got a match ticket." And we were like, "Oh, right, okay." And Kieran just went, "We could definitely take that ticket if we wanted." I was like, it was a moment of us both going, we never would, but we could. But we get back in the car and straight into Madrid, park up, and then we had we stopped off at this tapas bar, which was a 10-minute walk away from the Liverpool Square, and just the closer you get, the more you can just hear it coming, and then there's just loads of Liverpool fans like just coming away from the square, and like in bars just dotted around it, and then there was just a point where you just turn a corner, and it's there, and I swear to God, I've never seen so many people in one place. Like genuinely, it was. The only time I've ever seen anything that packed is 2005 Homecoming, when you'd look out over St George's Hall, over the steps of St George's Hall, and it was just absolutely crowded, packed to the rafters, and it was just like we headed into the crowd, and I reckon we did about 200 metres before we turned round and came back out, because it was just, everything was at a standstill. There were people, it was so packed. This is Madrid at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 33 degrees, something like that, fucking sweltering. As is tradition, everyone had gone into the closest equivalent of a Spanish off licence they could find and bought ale. So there was just crates of ale all over the floor that people were tripping up over. It just happens. So we just decided to go and sit in a bar adjacent instead to the square. So, get a table and all that. We had a mayor getting a table because Kieran nearly had to fight with someone because this fella was absolutely adamant that he had been told to wait by bar staff. And then someone left the table and Kieran went, I'm having that, when he sat down. And then these fellas were absolutely fuming to the point where they stormed off. I was like, you're not here for the right reasons, really, are you? If you're going to get pissed off at that. We literally said to him, yeah, lads, just sit down with us, kind of thing, we was asked. But, yeah. And then, gets to about 4 o'clock and I start flapping, because I'm very aware that the first checkpoint opens at 4 and the stadium opens at 6. I wanted to be at both because I didn't trust UEFA and I didn't trust Spanish police either to do anything. Yeah. Piss up in a brewery comes to mind. So R4 comes round and then I get a text off your Jordan, saying whereabouts are you? I'm next to the train station now. And I went, right, okay, this is the time. I'm going. So I went to the fellas, right, okay, I'm gonna go and meet Jordan and I'm gonna head to the stadium. So jumped on the metro. Got to the walked up to the stadium. I had absolutely no problems getting in. Got checked out. I'd had my ticket strapped to my chest all day. I'd slept with it under my pillow for 2 nights beforehand as well, because just in case. It's mad, because I had.
You don't want a reanimated dead lizard coming in.
I had my iPad with me the entire time, and I left that on the bed every night. And yet the ticket went everywhere with me.
It's much more valuable than an iPad.
It was. People, when we were walking away from the stadium, people were telling us on the metro that they'd spent like $6,000 on their tickets to get in there.
Someone sold the ticket for $10,000 there and then, didn't they? Because they were like, I'll just take my kids to Florida instead.
Yeah, two people have done it that we heard as well. Like, while we were there, they were like, I've just sold two for $20,000 then. I said to Kieran, I say, what if we had offered that now?
would you take it?
I mean, you think about it, but the point Kieran made, which is fair as well, is who the fuck is walking around with €10,000 in their pocket? Do you know what I mean? There's no way that's genuine money.
There's a bank transfer.
I mean...
Yeah. Would you be happy handing over a ticket with the prospect of,
yeah,
we'll give you $2,000 now. Here's 8 if you after the game.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Is that how it works?
I don't know.
I'd ask for 10 up front.
10 now and 10 later, please. Yeah, so we walked up to the stadium anyway. Got through because I had my ticket strapped to my chest. I had to literally fucking basically undress myself and to take it off, and then got it checked and all that, and then I'm stood outside the stadium waiting for the rest to catch up, and I'm texting everybody, and I'm just like...
You rang me for a little bit.
Yeah, I did.
He just...
stood outside the stadium, and I'm like, gonna have a bevy here, okay, have a bevy.
Really upset you didn't ring me,
Mate, I knew you were busy. I
was walking the dog.
Yeah, I knew she was with the dog. So
that's why I got my call.
So yeah, I'm just stood outside the stadium, and I'm just like having conversations with random people coming up, and hearing stories about how people have already bunked into the stadium. watching the queue grow ever longer, and then I got to a point where I just went, yeah, I'm bottling this and I'm getting in. So I text Kieran and I text Jay, and I went, right, okay, I'm getting it. I'm going in the stadium. Actually, no, what happened was Jay rang me to ask me where I was, and I went, I've passed the checkpoint now, and he went, are you at our seats now? And I went, no, I can be. And he went, are you going to the seats? And I went, yeah, alright, I'll go to the seats. Kind of just shoot myself a little bit. So I go in, get checked again, and what's it called? I had sun cream in my pocket, wasn't allowed to take that in the stadium.
Oh dear.
Spent €5 on a bottle of Pepsi Max.
A man as gingy as you needs to take sun cream with him in Spain.
50,
Hey.
yeah.
Am I sunburned?
You've done
Am I
well, to be fair.
sunburned even in the slightest?
I was expecting you to be very red.
Yeah.
There's a guy at work who came back and he's bald as well, unfortunately.
Poor fella.
Like, he's quite red,
Poor
as
fella.
well as his head.
So we Ronaldo's about to score. No.
Pen.
Penalty, gotta be a pen. Sorry.
In true story of a poor boy tradition, there is a match on while we're doing this.
Yeah, always. So I went and sat at my seat and I was chatting with everybody around us, you know, and I'm there for 2.5 hours at the end of the day, and when everybody else turned up, you know, we'd get pictures with the banners and stuff like that. And then Imagine Dragons started, which was nobody had time for it at all.
Did they play Radioactive at least?
They just played the medley.
They played like a minute of each song.
They just played the medley, mate, of all their songs. So they just basically just went through like about 45 seconds to a minute of each of their songs.
That's weird.
So it's not like a proper concert.
Because you have to remember,
Bring back Dua Lipa.
at 8:30, the players are still on the pitch warming up.
Yeah.
So they go in about 22, and then it's just that point where they have to come out, where like the stage hands come out, prep the stage, then Imagine Dragons come out, perform, and then they've got to take it all off again before the match starts.
Well, I just figured they'd play just one or two songs, like,
No.
or just one, just the main hit.
No, they just did medleys mate,
Right,
instead.
fair enough.
So I went to bog.
Still shy anyway.
Yeah, so I went to bog and left it.
Radioactive's a banger, but that's it.
Yeah. I'm reliably informed whilst I was in the toilet that they had fire cannons going as well. Bearing in mind, I've heard since it was 45 degrees at pitchside. And they had fire cannons going.
No wonder it was a
Everyone
shit game.
was fucking
Everyone was
furious.
dying.
So I come back down to my seat. I say my seat. My seat was meant to be on the second row, and I ended up moving back to the 5th row because there was more space for all of us to stand next to each other.
Fair enough.
So there's a VAR incident, and I'm quite interested in how it's working, to be honest. Because I thought
offside.
There was a penalty down the other end, and now that he's looking at a penalty at the other end instead.
Wait, what? No, it's the same. It's the same if there's a foul on.
No, I know,
in
but
the build-up.
it was the other. There was a penalty to Portugal that he gave.
That's this. It's this. The header leads to the penalty.
No, look, this is a Switzerland attack, and we're talking about.
This is not good radio.
No, I know. Sorry. Right, yeah. So, you know, once,
okay, my bad. Sorry.
Yeah, once the game starts. Does he give it? He has as well.
No good radio.
Sorry. Yeah, so, you know, once the game starts, I'm just like, right, okay. Into these Reds. Oh, we got a penalty.
Do you know, before you did start as well, it was just great seeing like the atmosphere. I said to you when you came back and we rewatched the highlights, I am so glad the club didn't accept those flags.
Yeah, so the club before kick-off were
wavy
offered
flags that all the Spurs fans had.
The club were offered by UEFA to have the flags put out, and
same with
the
Arsenal,
club said
Chelsea,
no.
they had them, didn't
Yeah.
they?
There's a shout out for Spy and Cop 1906 who basically arranged with the club to bring all the banners over.
It did look so good.
It basically just tried to bring the Cop into the stadium, which, by the way, is the best stadium I've ever been to comfortably. Fucking incredible place to watch football.
It looked really, really good.
It's mad how close we were to the pitch.
I was going to say, it looks really close for a bowl design as well.
Mm-hmm.
Insane.
It was just fantastic, to be honest. It's the best stadium I've ever watched.
And your seats were fucking brilliant as well.
Yeah, I
You're
mean,
right behind the goal, second row.
Yeah, it didn't come in hand. Well, fifth row when I moved.
Fifth row. I mean, like, you can't see much, but like for being close to it, like.
Well, that's the thing. Like, when the penalty gets given, I kind of just gathered it was a penalty because Sissoko, it didn't look like it hit him anywhere other than his arm.
Yeah.
And from that distance, it was just kind of like, if he's give it, he's give it. All right, the screen's all over the place, so you trying to check the replays and stuff like that. But it was just you were just trying to basically just go with it. And then when Salah,
it's the same as our view from the Kop when something happens at the Anfield Road end. Like
something's happened. Oh,
I had the crossbar covering half the pitch as well at times. So that was interesting as well. But I mean, yeah, well, I guess we found our way onto the penalty as well. I mean, would you be happy if we conceded the penalty like that?
Yeah, but it's a rule.
I wouldn't be happy. I would be annoyed at my defender.
He's there for a good 10 seconds with his arm up.
Well, 10 seconds is an exaggeration, but
I genuinely think that. Like, he's up there, like, he goes in, his arm's up,
alcohol
okay, maybe 5.
We hadn't been playing for 10 seconds at that point.
Okay. You know what I mean? But, like,
it's 24 seconds in, so he's probably...
It was seconds, though. It wasn't a quick up, it was seconds. And I definitely think Mane was just like, you know what, why not? And just targeted the arm.
I do agree, but I do think at a point where you're just like... The ball's deflected off of a different body part, you know what I mean?
But it's his arms come down. It's the second rule. Is he's brought his arm down in reaction to that. His arms come towards the ball. So for the second bit, he stopped the ball travelling to the box. So it's not necessarily the first action, it's the second one, which has sort of confirmed it.
Okay. I mean, I'm not complaining.
No.
No.
I mean, it's one of the worst penalties you'll ever see from Mo Salah, as far as I'm concerned.
It's hard, though.
He hit it dead hard. It's a good job.
The only reason he went in.
It's a good job Hugo Lloris is a fraud.
Do you know what? Have you seen the replay of him going like properly for the save? Like, he's just like not reacting to the penalty. It's like he's committed. Like, if you watch his hands, he's just committed that the ball's going to be in one particular space, and he does the whole push his arms out to push the ball away rather than react to the situation. Because when the ball passes his arms, like, a better keeper could have saved that.
Alisson
definitely.
Saves it. Alisson saves that, no problem.
You know,
Alisson saves anything, to be honest. The best goalkeeper in the world.
He did save everything.
Like, yeah, it's a better keeper probably would have saved it.
No, I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
I mean,
but,
I don't rate
Real Madrid took advantage of our fucking donkey of a goalkeeper last season. We took advantage of Spurs' donkey of a goalkeeper this season.
Yeah, and then nothing else happened for the 40 for hold on, how long was it? 86 minutes of the game.
Much.
Literally nothing of note except for Spurs had a couple of chances.
Van Dijk in the 74th minute.
Yeah, Van Dijk's tackle on Son.
Was absolutely brilliant.
Where he basically just
turns on his afterburners and just like, you know what, I'm keeping this. No one's ever dribbled past me.
I wouldn't even say afterburners. He decided he'd run instead of taking strides. Honest to God, it wasn't so much a case of I need to exert myself here. It was a case of
he went from impulse engines to warp 1.
Yeah.
He Star Trek.
He stepped into second gear, as us non-virgins would say. But then, I mean, Divock Origi did fuck all right all game, and then the ball falls.
He was so bad when he came on. He was so bad.
And then the
ball lands. Did he complete a pass?
No, I don't think so. I don't think he did. And I've got to be honest with you as well. Inside the stadium, there was a lot of frustration. It was very similar to the Kop.
Yeah.
In the fact that a lot of people could feel it reminded me of Leicester when you just kind of felt the game slipping away from the club and you're just like something needs to happen here, and then the club things aren't quite working the way that we'd like it to, and passes are getting easily intercepted.
Yeah. Spurs are getting more and more into
it. And Salah trying fucking stupid flicks and stuff like that drag back turn that he never even touches the ball for.
Yeah.
Everything was just getting a bit much, and everyone was getting a bit panicky. There's a point where I shouted with in about the 80th minute. There's a point where everyone had just gone mad, and I shouted to everyone around me, "Lads, it's a fucking European Cup final. Get behind them!" And then someone started to lay a couple of rows behind, and you're just like, "Yeah, this is better. All right, go on, breathe." And then you look at the clock, and I distinctly remember looking at the clock and seeing 82:16 and going, 8 minutes away here from winning the European Cup. And it was just kind of like that moment where I just went, right, okay.
Nearly there.
And then every corner it's the first man. Even this corner it's the first man.
Yeah.
But Son doesn't deal with it properly.
No.
Son doesn't deal with it properly. And when it comes to Virgil van Dijk and he fucks up a volley...
And he has a wild swing at it.
Well, we know what happens when Virgil van Dijk has a wild swing at a volley and Divock Origi is snooping round inside the area.
Again! Oh my god! A Virgil van Dijk assist from a really shit shot.
Well, I mean, we can say assist. Joel Matip deserves an awful lot of credit
Very
for how calm he
calm,
remained.
very calm.
And then... apparently statisticians reckon Divock Origi had a 4% chance of scoring from that position.
Elite level finisher. Elite level finisher.
Chance.
3 shots on target in the whole Champions League run.
Who the fuck is Lionel Messi?
Goal.
And he celebrated as if it was just a normal fucking game as well.
He does that though, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He doesn't really read the situation. Do you remember when he scored the winner against Everton and he went to grab the ball because he was just...
He thought we were just
thought we were behind
equalised
or
and
something.
yeah.
He's just an odd fella, but my God, what a fucking goal! That is a really, really good finish.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
World class.
Yeah, he just little drop of his shoulder and just shift and just completely fool the defender. And
The one
It's
point
so
it
easy.
needed to be as well in the goal. Like
Yeah.
the one bit
Yeah.
he gets it spot on.
It's
Like,
so easy to say it with hindsight now, but literally the second the ball comes to Origi, I knew it was in. I literally just was like, he scored here. I can't believe it. I can't believe he scored. And then it goes in, and I mean, it was pandemonium in the ground. Like people falling over each other, people falling off of chairs. They for some reason played Seven Nation Army in the celebrations. So rather than singing
fuck something,
no, it's so they started playing Seven Nation Army, and it was like as a celebration. I think they did that after both goals actually.
I think they do
But,
play the guitar thing.
What's it called? Obviously we know that as the Javier Mascherano song.
Yeah.
Instead it was Oh Divock Origi.
That'll do.
And that was
New
just honest to God, everything was just so surreal at that point, because you're at a point where you're like, we've won it now, just blow the whistle, ref, and we've won the fucking trophy. And literally
It was just a formality of those last 7 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I knew Origi had scored as well, by the way. I was absolutely convinced Jordan Henderson was lashing that volley in the top corner, the one he scuffed wide.
Yeah.
I was convinced it was going. I was like,
set up so nicely,
if this goes in here, it's the greatest goal I've ever seen.
I was convinced Milner was going to score, to be honest, from that Mane run, because it was just so good, and Milner just looked like he'd placed it.
Yeah.
He looked like he saw a gap.
Yeah.
And that was it.
I think he scored a goal similar
but it
in
was
the Premier League,
so close.
It ran parallel between. It was like Milner was passing at me.
Yeah.
Like that's how in line I was with it, and I'm still absolutely gutted it didn't go in, because the build up was the nicest bit of play Liverpool played all game.
Yep.
Mane just took the piss out of them. Salah does really well to lay it off as well, because he was done my fucking head in all game. Mo Salah.
I couldn't believe it. I think I might have mentioned it to you, whether you remember it or not, I don't know.
Fuck
But
knows.
I think I said, it was good that he scored the penalty, because now it probably means he's not going to be selfish and he's going to actually lay the ball off more. But then he didn't. And I think part of it is because he wanted his name more in lights. You think now it's all about Origi, isn't it? Like all the, we sort of forget that the penalty happened. It's all, look at Origi's winning that goal for us,
No,
and I think
definitely.
he wanted that, which drove us mad.
Yeah, I mean, there's a point where the ball comes out to him from a corner in the first half, and he has a swing at it with his right foot, and it's like, if it goes in, fair play, but play sensibly here. Do you know what I mean? We're not talking about a game where we can recover from this. This is a one shot, one kill kind of game, and we needed to be. Well, I was going to say we needed to be perfect. We were far from perfect, but we needed everything to go as well as it could have. And when you've got someone like that, who is obviously undoubtedly brilliant, who's trying to prove a point from last year and stuff, it didn't half great.
Needed calmer heads.
It did need calmer heads, exactly. And I mean, it's even wound me up in the aftermath, just seeing every single fucking like video you see, it's Salah's got hold of the trophy at some point. Do you know what I mean? He just keeps grabbing hold of the trophy, and like the end of "You'll Never Walk Alone," where the players are singing it with us. Salah's the one who runs up and picks the trophy up and then lifts it in front of the fans. And I was like, "That's Henderson's job, that." Why, like, I don't know why you've done that. Why you felt like you're the one who should be doing that. If anyone should be doing it out of the strikers, it's Divock Origi, not you. Because Divock Origi a year ago had no place at Liverpool Football Club, and I think it's very easy to forget that. In fact, a year ago was pushing it. I think start of the last season there was a point where, well, when he comes on against Everton, a lot of people thought he was still out on loan. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people did. A lot of people, when we were in the Cop, were just like, "Oh, is Origi still here?" There was a genuine, like, you could feel the shock. Whereas now it's like Divock Origi is. We've had this conversation in the past about what defines legend and cult hero. Divock Origi goes down as a Liverpool legend now, and that's it. I mean, there's a discussion today about Daniel Sturridge, because obviously Sturridge and Moreno have ended up leaving the club because their contracts expired this summer, and Sturridge has posted a message on his Facebook which nearly made me cry when I read it.
Yeah, same. Read it on the bus on the way home.
Filled me in, but people talking about Daniel Sturridge like he's a legend, and you're like, you know,
the heartbreaking thing with Sturridge is he had all the potential in the world.
He could have been. He quite easily could have been. Yeah,
and he's just his body writing down, and it's just.
And I'm fine with him. I'm fine with him filling in on the cult hero kind of level. Do you know what I mean? He's on the same kind of level to me as Dirk Kuyt and Peter Crouch and that kind of player. Do you know what I mean? Where you're just like, you were really good for us. The Craig Bellamy's of the world, who, you know, in second spell for us, Craig Bellamy was fantastic. But it's not a legend. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's not a legend. And all right, maybe I'm being harsh on Dirk Kuyt there, definitely. But I'm
holding my tongue. Don't worry.
No, it's fine. But yeah, I mean, Divock Origi now goes down as a Liverpool legend because of what he's done in the last 2 games in the Champions League, and that is incredible. He's alongside the likes of David Fairclough as, you know, the super sub kind of thing. He wasn't even
dragged us over the line.
It's 1966 World Cup. England go into the final with Serge Fs playing. Right, he wasn't meant to start that game. Jimmy Greaves was, and the only reason he started it is because Jimmy Greaves was injured. And who do you remember now more out of the two of them? You remember the one who scored the hat-trick in the World Cup final.
Yeah.
And it's the same kind of principle with Divock Origi now. He wasn't meant to be starting against Barcelona, but because Salah took a knock to the head and Firmino's got injured in training, he has to start, and then 2 goals later, he's at the final, comes off the bench, scores. Legend.
It is funny because you think of maybe at some point, before like the Everton game, when you see Origi's coming on in the 60th minute, you go, oh, that sort of, oh God, this is it. What? Because there's no one better on the bench.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, when
now I just think,
Origi's
going to score it. Origi's going to score it. It's going to be an absolute shit house of a goal, and it's going to be fucking brilliant. I can't wait.
Let's say as soon as the board went up. Yeah, great decision. Mm-hmm. Not a problem, single problem with that at all.
Yeah, I mean, because Firmino was absolutely off the pace completely. Just he looked like a fella who needs a summer. Which, you know, the effort he puts in every week, you can't fault him. So I'd kept it together very well, and then the full-time whistle goes, and I see everyone on the. Everything hit me at once, and I broke down, crying my eyes out. I had Jay in front of me, I had Kieran come down, he was a couple of rows behind us, and I had him come down, and I had taken a step even further back, so I was on row 6 at this point, because basically everyone had gone forward and was standing on chairs, or standing on the chairs like we were against Barca.
Yeah.
And I still took a step back because I didn't want to get up on a chair for the bit at, you know, I didn't want it for the actual final whistle when everyone goes mad, because I was like, I will die. But I wanted to still see over everybody, basically. And I just remember looking over at the stairs and seeing Kieran come down with fucking tears streaming down my face, and just him just laughing, and I'm just like, oh my god, like fucking grabbed the pair of them, like hugged them, and then there's a point where he stood behind me on the chair behind me, and I'm stood there just like with my hands on my head, and he grabbed me, like put his arm around my neck and that, and I can hear him crying behind me, and I was just like, yeah, I'm going again here. And then I calmed down, and you look over to the pitch and the lads start running at us, and again I just broke down at that point then, and I was just like, oh my god, this is too much, you know. And then, you know, you're looking for all the heroes, you're looking for your Jurgen Klopps, you're looking for your Trents, and Trent coming over and doing this 6 times with his hands, and then punching the air and stuff like that was like one of the best moments.
Yeah, cut it off on the telly.
Yeah, I mean, you missed out on so many things that they didn't show on the, like, I've watched the game back on the telly. They didn't show so many good things. Like I have great memory. For example, story I will tell you now is the story of Dejan Lovren and the net. Okay.
It's good. This.
Yes.
It's very good. This.
Look at his face. He has no idea about this.
This is so good.
I have no idea.
There is an age-old tradition with footballers. It's not really done anymore, I don't think. But you know, Lovren's an old-fashioned player, where you take a piece of the net
or
from the game.
Take the whole net as they've done at Wembley and all that.
You take a piece of the net for yourself because, you know, to remember the game kind of as a keepsake. So obviously this isn't UEFA's pitch, this is Atletico's pitch. Okay, so Dejan Lovren comes over with a pair of scissors to the net in front of us, and he starts cutting himself a little section of the net, and all of a sudden these 3 Spanish fellas just surround him and just go, no, and Dejan Lovren looks over at them. This isn't great radio again. Dejan Lovren looks over at them and just, without like breaking eye contact with them, just keeps cutting. just keeps cutting around. And then they grab his hand to try and stop him from cutting, and he's just like, what are you doing, kind of thing. Carries on. And then we're all sitting there going, let him fucking do it, let him do it. And then Lovren's got a piece of the net and we all cheer, and he steps round from the goal and he just looks over at us and he just starts smiling, and then he just has this little moment where he just like looks over his shoulder, does that with his, points at them and just goes like that at the crowd, and everyone went off their head. Everyone was just like, yes, yes. And Dejan Lovren like just walking away with this piece of net, just like, yes.
Right, now that's legend.
Yeah. Right. So then Virgil van Dijk tries it. Okay? Virgil van Dijk tries it. Because Lovren had tried it already, the fellas stood on the goal line and were just like, no one's coming near this. So they see Van Dijk coming with this pair of scissors and just go straight to him. No. And then there's not 3 of them this time, but there's about 10 of them, and they just go, no, not a chance. And at this point I'm wondering, like, what are you going to do with that net now? It's got a massive hole in it where Dejan Lovren's just cut a hole in it. What the fucking hell? Are you going to repair that net? Like, I think I've reasoned it out since, and I think the reason they were a bit protective over it is because it's Atletico Madrid's first season in the Wanda Metropolitano.
Is it?
Yeah, it's their they changed over from the Vicente Calderon last year, didn't they?
Yeah, I just thought it was just renamed.
So yeah, so it's their first season.
This is why you're not on the podcast.
I know. Doing us girls a massive favour.
I think they wanted to keep it as like a memory kind of thing.
Maybe, yeah.
And then Lovren cut a hole in it.
What a fucking guy.
But that is genuinely one of my favourite memories from the whole fucking day, because it was just this sheer defiance of Lovren where he was just like I'm just laughing at these fellas,
guys.
Just like,
absolute jokers.
I'm doing what I want. I'm taking this net if I want it.
You're just seeing a museum in a few years' time of the first net at the Wanda Metropolitano.
It's a weird
hole cut out by Dejan Lovren after Liverpool's the European Cup win.
Well, yeah, exactly. And then, you know, Henderson lifting it and stuff like that. And apparently Jordan Henderson asked Jurgen Klopp to go up with him and lift it.
And Milner.
And James Milner.
And they both said no.
Yeah, and both of them said no, it's your moment. And then Dejan Lovren comes over with Henderson, and he's got hold of Henderson, and he's just saying, "This is your captain. He is your captain," kind of thing. Virgil van Dijk joins in with him.
Yeah. Henderson's in absolute bits at this point
There's,
as well, isn't he?
yeah, and then when we've actually got the trophy, they all come back over, and each of them took a turn and lifting it. Each of them, and there's a point where, like, half the squad have had a go, and it gets to Van Dijk, and Van Dijk just takes the trophy with one hand. Genuinely, he's walking. He walks about 10, 12 yards with this trophy, and he's just got it, traipsing next to him with it in his right hand, and he's just going to us because we're all like, oh, and he just goes to us like that with his arm, like, just calm down, just calm down, and then he just looks at us and just does the tongue out celebration, like absolutely going off his head, and it was like, yes, Fred, you're the best. And then Alisson in goal, like, he stood on the goal line and he's filming for his family, and we're going, listen, and every time we do it, he raises his hand and goes, listen, and then stood on the halfway. He sat in the centre circle watching all of it for like most of the celebration. For most of the celebration, Alisson was just sat still in the centre circle, and there was a point where you're just like, is he all right? And then again start chanting his name, and from the centre circle he just goes like that and just waves, and it was like a moment of just, you are the coolest man on this fucking planet, and I love you more than I ever thought I could love a goalkeeper.
What would we have done if his wife would have went into labour and Mignolet would have started that game?
I mean, well, we'd have lost it, wouldn't we?
Probably about it. There's no probably about it. I'd rather it started Kahela or whatever his name is.
He is ridiculous. That is another thing as well. There's a picture of the three keepers and the goalkeeper coach.
Yeah.
When they were each taking their turn to lift it in front of the crowd, Alisson didn't do it on his own. He said to them, no, all of us, and he came over with Mignolet, Kelleher and John Achterberg, and they all four of them lifted it together. Because he is the nicest man on the planet, as far as I'm concerned, and he's the best goalkeeper there is as well.
And he's fit.
And I hope he still sells those cardboard cutouts of him. Maybe they're a bit discounted. Might buy one.
But yeah, I mean, it's just, there's so many different things happening. Like Daniel Sturridge putting the trophy down and starting to dance in front of it, and it was just like, this is the last time he's ever going to play for Liverpool. Well, being a Liverpool shirt, isn't it? And
Daniel Sturridge's last dance.
Heavy. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is, and it is heartbreaking. Andy Robertson stood, like, he stood about 10 yards further back than everybody else with his hands on the back of his head, just staring at the fans, just like taking it all in, and everything was just perfect. And there was a point, like, everyone was like filtering out, and there's a point where I was just like, we should probably go now because it's their moment now at this point. Like, they kind of started like talking to each other and laughing and joking on the pitch, and it was like, right, okay, go on, we'll head off. And I just turned around and I looked at the pitch, and it was just like, it never gets better than this.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't even talked about Jurgen Klopp there. Like, I mean, Jurgen Klopp, I'm sat there looking around for him, and no one could find him, no one could pick him out, because he was doing his interview, no one could pick him out. He was just singing his name, just on repeat, just singing his name. And then I think Matip went and grabbed him, and then they all brought him over and did the started throwing him up in the air, and then he starts orchestrating between the players and the fans, and he starts basically going, like, lifting his arms to get a cheer out of both sets. So we cheer, then the players would cheer, and then it just got to a point where we were both cheering all together, and like,
that's fucking amazing.
Jurgen Klopp doing it, like Jurgen Klopp lift like with his arms and just cheering with him, and it was,
if
like,
that's not an analogy for like his tenure in general.
He is the bridge.
I don't know what is.
He's the bridge between the playing staff, the club itself, and the fans.
Exactly.
And, you know, people might look at Trent Alexander-Arnold as that, and you might even look at Jordan Henderson and James Milner for it. But at the end of the day, it all starts with Jurgen Klopp. He's the one. He's the one who, way back in 2015. I sat there against West Brom crying my eyes out after a 2-2 draw because he came over to us because he got it, and he was celebrating like we'd won a game because he got it. He understood exactly what it meant, and that hit home a lot earlier for me than I thought it would, to be honest. But like, it's fantastic. Everything about the win. Obviously, we've won a trophy, and that's great. But it means Jurgen Klopp's won a trophy. It means Jordan Henderson's won a major trophy. It means Virgil van Dijk is, proved right for moving to Liverpool. It means Alisson is as well. Alisson had a whole list of suitors last year. He could have gone to Real Madrid if, obviously, Real Madrid, chose Courtois instead, and you understand that kind of thing. But Alisson could quite easily have gone to any other club in the world, and instead he's at Liverpool. And now it's vindicated. It's Jurgen Klopp goes down as a legend in this club now. Jurgen Klopp will forever be remembered alongside your Bob Paisley, your Joe Fagan, and your Rafa Benitez, and obviously the other fellas who weren't fortunate enough to win it, like Shankly and Dalglish, and Houllier, I guess, as well. It's just everything just felt right about it. You're looking at it and you're like, Oxlade-Chamberlain gets his redemption from last year as well. It's the only way it could have been more perfect, to be honest, if it was Oxlade-Chamberlain who scored instead of one of the other two. But everything just felt right. And then you got like James Milner went on the parade back. It come out today, didn't it? That he made the bus stop outside. I was about to mention this. Somebody who was left disabled after Hillsborough, and everything, like, I just see random videos now and it's still making me really upset and like bringing tears to my eyes, because it's just like everything about this club that we've paraded is now everyone can see it. And we got Spurs fans turning around and saying that Liverpool fans were fantastic. Liverpool fans were just, all they've done is just celebrate the win. They haven't, wound us up about it. They haven't tried to rub it in. They've just celebrated their team winning. There was no trouble in Madrid. Everything, it just went perfectly. Everything. It was the most perfect day for the club in general, for the fans everywhere in the world. I mean, the celebrations in Liverpool were ridiculous. I mean, I was so upset to be. We had a 7-hour trip back to Alicante after it, because Robbie who was driving had just a mammoth effort to do it. Fair play to him, because I wouldn't have wanted to do it. Like, he'd been up for 24 hours at one point and he was just still trooping. So, and it's all worth it. And then you're watching the parade and there's 750,000 people there, and you're just wishing you were back home as part of it, and everything was just. It literally could not have been more what this club's about than this weekend if it had tried. Do you know what I mean? Everything. The only thing that's pissed me off really is John Henry just butting into every single picture. John Henry and John Henry and Tom Werner just like pictures of Jurgen Klopp, and then there's John Henry in the background just like we pay for this, remember?
Oh, they're allowed to, don't worry.
No, I know. But yeah, I mean, usually we'll have to parade.
We were at the parade.
I think we made a smart decision, didn't we?
We did. We didn't go down to the town centre for it. I don't think any of us could have handled it with the hangovers. I was feeling particularly fragile.
I went to bed 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Because not that I got home at 4:30, because obviously the little moaning sod to the left of us.
It took me ages.
And Riley,
no, it's I don't think I got to sleep until about 5 or 6.
As soon as I came home about 2:30 in the morning, I'm watching the reactions, because like in the bar, like obviously after we lifted, like they turned the sound off on the thing, so like we missed all the interviews, we missed all the celebrations, because we're all celebrating with each other.
We got the trophy lift.
Oh, that's what I mean. We saw the trophy lift, but that's the thing, we did see the interviews with Trent and Salah and with Jurgen and Henderson. We missed all that, so I'm like, I'm sat up till 4:30 in the morning watching it. Just don't care at all. Don't care that I've got to be up early with the dog and all that. I was like, absolutely no care at all. So I don't think I would have coped being, because people got there well early.
Yeah, and so we just watched it on West Derby Road, just by yours, and it was so good. It was a fucking lovely atmosphere. It was a lot less intense than it would be down in town. There were families there. There were kids. There was a dad trying his best to get his kid in the tree. The kid was terrified.
The kid was so scared. He just would. All he had to do was get his leg over the branch.
He just wouldn't move his fucking leg. It pissed me off so much.
That woman next to us, I feel like she was going to slap her kid at some point as well.
He was being a right little shit.
But like she was just like, I'll make a effort show of you all up and down West Derby. Where's that? here like, alright.
Don't fucking pack it in. I'll smack you up all the down West Derby Road. I was like, fuck yeah. But other than that, it was really, really lovely. We just we
had a good spot.
We picked a patch of grass. We took Riley out. We got him dressed up in a scarf and a flag.
He got more attention.
He got more attention than anybody. It was just really, really nice. And
he got away from Mo Salah.
He did.
Riley got away from Mo Salah. And it took ages for the bus to come. Jamie kept saying, it's like, okay, it's on West Derby Road. It's on West Derby Road. Wasn't. And then she was like, oh, they're just at the pub on the corner of West Derby Road now. Wasn't.
I just kept saying, like, oh, it's coming up to, like, the crossing at Old Swan, you know, where the navigator is. Oh, yeah, it's come. No, it's still on the flyover. I was like, it's alright, it's nearly by the Jolly Mill.
I'll tell you now.
I couldn't give updates anymore.
As frustrating as it was for you, right, I knew where it was because I was watching it on YouTube. And instead, the club were trying to fucking make me listen to Chris Kirkland.
Oh, God, yeah, no,
all they had was Jason McAteer, who was quite clearly hanging out his arse, right, talking for the first like 45 minutes, and then there was a point where they just kind of went, Jason's not doing too well. So it was like, right, so we're gonna go to Queen's Drive and speak with Chris Kirkland instead. I'm like, what the fucking hell do I want to listen to Chris Kirkland for? Just put a microphone on that bus. Let me hear Jurgen Klopp going absolutely off his head because he was bladdered. He was absolutely rotten.
Oh my god.
You know, there's videos of him singing at about 5 a.m. Spanish time, and then so I don't actually think he's stopped drinking or slept at all.
The little snippet, I don't even know where it's from, but the little snippet of him and Alisson in the corner.
Drinks?
Where are the drinks? It's one of my favourite. I mean,
it's in the stadium once we've got in. I think as soon as they get in, it's like, I need a drink.
Him counting as well, and just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Absolutely. Are we agreed? That's how we do it.
Yeah, with the thumb. With the thumb. Yeah.
5 on one hand,
no problem,
and the thumb.
Yeah.
I feel like this is going to be an argument.
Why would there be another way? Like that?
No, with the finger instead. Yeah.
Oh, the 3. No, that's just mine.
Yeah, no, I don't like that at all. I feel like you're some kind of mutant wizard.
Yeah. Looks like you're just giving the peace symbol wrong, doesn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that's definitely the way. 6 times.
But eventually the coach came, and like you could hear it before you could see it. You could hear like the roar of like, okay, yeah, it's here now. We can see all the flashing lights from the police vans in front. We can hear the music. They were playing the Mo Salah song, so we all had a bit of a sing of that. And the first coach comes past, and I think that's all.
Was it press? I don't know.
Press, yeah. And the second coach, which is all the Liverpool players, and my fucking god, James Milner's jaw is fucking brilliant. He is a chiseled Greek god.
Oh my god! Sorry,
I've never seen him that closely. He is like. He's chiseled out of marble. He's absolutely stunning, and he's just sat like really, really coolly, and nonchalantly on the corner at the front of the bus. And I know for a fact that he was in that exact position about 4 hours earlier when the coach started. And it's like he got that part at the front of the bus next to Henderson. He was like, "I'm going to stay here, and none of you can do anything about it. So fuck off. I'm going to have the best view of all of this."
Yeah.
Him, Henderson, and Robbo at the front. Robbo had a massive Mexican sombrero.
Was that who had the sombrero?
Yeah. And he also had a big flag, which I think he probably took from a supporter because it was on a really, really, really long pole. So I feel like someone's actually passed it up to him and given it to him. So I don't feel like the club would have given the players flags to wave. I feel like he's definitely taken it from a supporter.
Have you seen the thing on Twitter about the club put out a message beforehand, a safety message saying, please don't bring pyrotechnics because you shouldn't be using it. And then it cuts to a picture of Trent Alexander-Arnold stood on top of the bus with it's just like, yes, Trent, you fucking scouser.
The parade was a lot more subdued where we were. The players weren't going mad.
Can I just
like
ask,
they were at the start or they were at the end.
Did you just go back in for did you just come and watch the rest of the parade?
I needed to get off. We were gonna go see a talk by the first British astronaut, but we didn't get there in time. Right. So I didn't. But I watched highlights of it and stuff afterwards.
I had Riley, so I was like, get back to the house to watch.
Did anyone else absolutely shit themselves when Jordan Henderson had hold of the European Cup with one hand going down the dock road?
Yeah,
I'm sat there
just like it was one hand. It looked like it was just like 3 fingers, just really loosely holding it.
That's meant to be heavy, you know.
Just don't do in Madrid when Ramos dropped it in front of the bus.
The Copa del Rey.
He ran over it.
I mean,
Genie dropped his phone though.
Genie dropped his phone and then
then he got thrown back up.
Yeah, I mean,
how nice are Scousers?
It still works.
It's just a fantastic weekend.
It
really was. It's a message to everybody who we've been linked with and anyone who we're in contact with about exactly how special this club is.
Yeah, exactly. Look at the hero status you can get if you can win something with us. Look, does any other club do a parade like that?
Yeah, Mikey showed me we were just sat on the couch before, and Mikey just showed me a video from the Netherlands press conference, and it's just Van Dijk all he's mentioning is about De Ligt, just, you know. But he's got this massive grin on his face. Mikey's like,
have you seen it for Van Dijk talking about De Ligt, and he's just like, I'm sure Matthias will make the best decision for him.
Wink, wink.
But we will. he just goes, so we'll see. And it's like, oh my God, we can have anyone. It's just the thing is, we've all said it, like, this team deserved a trophy. This team deserves something. This team deserves to be remembered in 30 years' time as... I mean, how the fucking hell that 2005 team goes down in history is beyond me. Like, the names that go down in there...
Nowhere near as good as this team.
And it's nowhere near the level... We're talking levels above...
This is the best Liverpool I've ever seen. This might be the best Liverpool ever. To get 97 points in a league season and win the Champions League and beat the teams that we have to do it. Beat
not like last year.
Beat Bayern Munich, beat Barcelona.
Definitely.
No, it's like when you think of like last year, if we would have won it, everyone would have been like, oh, but who did you face? City. City was the hardest team on paper, whereas like absolutely nothing that you
can't say Liverpool fluked their way to this, can you?
Absolutely.
I mean, we've lost the most games anyone's ever lost to, and still won the league, Champions League, this season. But I think it makes up.
Spurs one, they would have lost more as well. Because they just love losing games.
I feel like it makes up for the fact though that we've lost the least number of games in the Premier League without winning the trophy.
It's really roundabouts.
Exactly. So that's. I mean, we went one season where we lost once, and this season just gone, and one season where we lost twice. So I think it's fitting really that we have that record in the Champions League of being the team who have lost the most and yet still won the trophy.
And as well, this Champions League win has just taken the shine off City's treble.
No one fucking cares.
No one cares.
Absolutely, no one cares. It's brilliant.
Isn't it? Like everyone's like, could you see all the pages on social media just like, you're still talking about Liverpool, you know, City did win the treble, like, no one's asked. Yeah. Like, this is the biggest trophy.
No one's asked because no one thinks it counts.
No, Spurs to do it all the time. Like
the hardest team City played was at Chelsea. In both the FA Cup and the League Cup combined, the hardest team they played was Chelsea. And then the rest of the teams were either relegation fodder in the Premier League, the Burnleys of the world, or Newport, or Swansea.
I didn't mean they don't count in that sense that they faced no one good. I mean that no one thinks of them as a rival. No one thinks of them as an actual team that you can hate or love, or it's just kind of something that you nothing.
Really forcing
that everyone
a rivalry,
nothings.
Like they just doesn't exist.
That is a very good point. At the moment, City...
people fucking love or fucking hate Liverpool. People fucking love or hate United. Same with Chelsea. Same with Arsenal. On City.
And same on Tottenham as well, to be fair. But it's a different type of... Like, I do dislike City, but it's because of what they've done. To football as much as anything else. Like, Liverpool spent a lot of money, and I'm not here to say that we haven't, but at the same time, we've recouped money as well. Do you know what I mean? There's no, to our knowledge, there's no backhanded payments. Liverpool, I mean, there's a good to fair chance, if we're honest, like once the hype dies down, there's a good to fair chance Liverpool don't sign many players this summer because we outdid ourselves last year. Do you know what I mean? That's why we're recording record profits and stuff like that.
Just use the €100 million prize just to balance.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, we pay £75 million for Virgil van Dijk, but how long's that spread over?
We don't actually need much in way of rebuilding anything.
That's a show for another day.
That is a show for another day. That's fair.
Because I mean, this is not about Liverpool. We can't put Liverpool down at all in this. We can't look at any
and it's not about no one giving a shit about City either. Like no one does.
Exactly.
This is about us winning a Champions League.
I need to say as well, right? Whilst my podcast, I'll do what I want.
That is fair.
Liverpool fans comparing our parade to Man City's parade just needs to knock it on the head, because we know we're a bigger club than them.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, enjoy this for what it is. It's not Liverpool being better than Man City. It's not Liverpool being better than Everton or Man United or anyone in the world. It's about Liverpool, and that's what we can take away from this. Liverpool now have 6 European Cups. England as a country has 13 in total, and Liverpool have 6 of them. Do you know what I mean? The rest of the country only has 7. So Man City have got 3. Man City. Man United have got 3. Chelsea have got 1. Aston Villa have got 2, and Nottingham Forest have got 1.
That is true, yeah.
Other way around. Aston Villa have got 1, Nottingham Forest have got 2. Yeah. And then if you throw Celtic in as well, which some people will do, that's 8 for the rest of the country. Liverpool have 6. Liverpool are the 3rd most successful team in European football, in European Cup history. Now, Liverpool are now back level with Man United for most major honours as well. Yeah, Liverpool have won 42 alongside Man United. Liverpool are firmly back on their fucking perch as the best club in English football, and it doesn't matter what Man City do at the moment, because they're a long way behind us. Their 6 on their shirt will mean that they've won 6 league titles. We have 18 of them. So they can fuck off as far as I'm concerned. I don't give a flying fuck about them. Yeah. My club is the best team in Europe. Yeah. And we have a trophy that proves that.
And on that, about comparing the parades, like, fucking leave Rupert's Tower alone.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's been cleaned up once, and now the graffiti's back. Like,
yeah.
Why are you thinking about Everton at a time like this? There's no point.
The defence, there is only literally the only thing I can think of in kind of defence of it is that they defaced the Klopp mural the day before, and they wrote nonce on the top of it, didn't it? I don't know if it was the day before, but it was recently anyway. They did that. And then they all lost their toys out the pram when we did it to Rupert's Tower.
But we're better than them.
No, I know, and it does need saying that doesn't need to happen, and it would be a real shame if Rupert's Tower ends up getting cordoned off or something like that, because at the end of the day, it's an important part of this city, and this
talking about their work today. It's the shed of castles. It's tiny and pathetic. It's weird.
It's Everton.
Yeah.
but it's theirs, and they love it. And at the end of the day, if they want to drive down Queen's Drive while we've got 750,000 fans all lining the streets, if they want to drive down Queen's Drive with Blair and Z cars out the window, then they can do it. Have you not seen that video?
No. I thought that was funny.
Oh
it's brilliant. They think it's the funniest thing in the fucking world.
Yeah, they are so proud of themselves because someone drove down.
Also, he's hiding his face as well. He's ducking.
Yeah, it's like
they're just blasting Z cars as loud as they can and driving down where everyone's.
And all the comments were like, fucking get in, show them reds. And it's like, yeah, they are. Is our 6th European trophy.
I thought it was fucking brilliant. I loved it.
I mean, fair play
ever change Everton.
Fair play to them, because they are trying. At the end of the day, it is a big summer for Liverpool from this point on. It is a big. Next season's huge.
What do you think about? Sorry to interrupt, because they announced that because we won, we're now actually playing in the Club World Cup.
Qatar, bring on Qatar
in December as well.
I know. It means we need. It means we probably need to improve in terms of squad, but Liverpool are very much capable of fighting on all fronts next season. But again, it's not about what I was about to say. It's not about next season. It's not about. It's huge. It's huge for next summer. It's huge for this summer. Sorry, and it's huge for next season. This could be our 1977 where we go on and we win everything, and we become dominant again in Europe, in England in particular, actually. Europe would be lovely as well. But right now, it's not about that. Right now, it's about
just enjoying
this because these moments have been few and far between in the last 14 years, really. Since the last time we regularly won trophies, really, it ended with the FA Cup in 2006, didn't it? And, after that, there was a big break between that and Cardiff. It's about making sure that we enjoy what this is, because this is truly a special day. It will be the best day of my life until the day my kids are born.
No,
even then, unless Jordan Henderson's lifting the child, I don't think I'll care as much.
And unless Jordan Henderson's officiating a wedding, it's a tough
or the
thing.
father.
That's fine as well. That's fine as well. Seeing him crying after the game filled me in completely.
Collapsing into his dad's arms and into Klopp's arms. Absolutely fucking kills me. Absolutely wrecks me every time.
No, completely. And
you know what? I am not as happy for anyone. I don't think I've ever been as happy for anyone in my life than I am happy for Jordan Henderson to win this as captain and to lift that trophy.
He just proved everything about his,
exactly.
Literally, you think of the story about him and
coming to Liverpool, him digging his heels in and staying when Rodgers wanted to sell him. Him being in Gerrard's shadow and having to step into his shoes and being blasted by other managers, current Liverpool managers when Rodgers wasn't on his good side and wanted to get rid of him. The Liverpool fans, I would say it's about 50-50 on Liverpool fans at one point on ones that just want rid of Henderson.
The Marmite of the players.
For him to go through all of that, absolutely all of that, and come out as a Champions League winning captain is fucking incredible.
And his name goes down forever now.
Yeah,
as well.
Exactly.
And that's the most important. It goes Emlyn Hughes twice, Phil Thompson, Graham Souness, Steven Gerrard, and Jordan Henderson, and that's huge for anybody, and he deserves it because he has no one's defined the fighting spirit more of this team than Jordan Henderson throughout his Liverpool career. He's been fantastic. He really has. I mean, all right. He's had his off games, but he wasn't. Better Van Dijk. That was it. But I mean, is there anything else either of you want to add?
Man of the match.
Divock Origi. No, I mean, my man of the match on the night was Joel Matip. He was fantastic. He
was brilliant. I think mine was Fabinho, to be honest.
Fabinho,
I thought Fabinho just legs everywhere. Just the tackles he was making was brilliant.
Fabinho, to me, showed exactly why you should have started against Tottenham in the league. But I can understand completely why you go for Fabinho. I think Alisson, Van Dijk won the UEFA one, and then Alisson was given it by Liverpool. Take your pick, really. As long as it's not Bobby Firmino, I think anyone it'd be hard to disagree with, to be honest. But they're all European champions at the end of the day, so it doesn't matter who got man in the match. Liverpool ends 2018-19 with silverware. Liverpool. And how unlikely did that feel after the fucking semi-final against Barcelona? The first leg of it anyway.
Yeah.
How unlikely did that feel? Liverpool sitting in as champions of Europe will have 6 on their shirt next season. We'll have 2019
6 on my shirt.
On the other one. I will live up to my word as well, and I will get a Liverpool shirt with 27 Origi on the back of it, and it is going to get framed alongside my ticket and my programme, because
also
it was the best day of my life.
Can we please just a little mention for I was so close with my prediction. I was so close.
Literally after it happened, he was shouting in my face like, "I guessed it! Did I not? Did I not?"
I said 3-0. Obviously, I wasn't correct with the scoreline, but I did say Salah scores early, Origi comes on, and Origi scores the final 2. I did say that.
Fair enough.
Listen back to last episode. I said that.
I went with Spurs to score early, and I've never been more happy to be wrong in my entire life, because at the end of the day, Liverpool are European champions, and I will not get tired of saying that until... ever. And now there's a show about Trent Alexander-Arnold on Sky Sports, so I think we should love you and leave you. We aren't done for this season yet, because me and Matt have got to be put through our paces our memories tested, our bottle tested. You know, this team of bottlers we've been following all season who are now European champions. Well, we've got to test our bottle as well in the end of season quiz.
We need to add a Champions League section. Last year I was just like, I'm not going to talk about the Champions League final. Whereas now I'm just going to do a massive section.
Most of my answers will be Divock Origi.
We have that as well. And then, of course, we'll be here all summer as well. I say all summer. We'll have weeks off probably because we always do. But I think we can look back and we'll be talking about this season. We'll be talking about next season. We'll be talking about transfers. We'll be talking about everything to do with Liverpool Football Club, who are 6-time European champions. Thank you very much for listening. See you after.
Bye.
See ya.